Where did Crazy Face go? Oh no, the globe! I want to talk to the globe! Guess I'm not talking to the globe.
Mr. Kreutzer, come on, you have to give me a bit more. You're the only one who was on the train and who has no alibi for last night.
As I said, I was in my cabin.
Are you sure that it was your cabin and not the baronet?
Are you sure you're not confusing minding your own business with murder? I could be a police officer. I mean, if this guy can keep a job with lines of questioning like that.
Lady Westmacott, may I bother you for a moment?
By all means, Mr. Zellner.
Questioning.
How is the questioning going?
Are you implying that I'm an eavesdropper? The inspector is placing a lot of pressure
No,
on
I'm actually not going to call you an eavesdropper because you've actually been there the entire day where both of them basically sat next to you and started doing this.
I know people like him. He doesn't have enough backbone to kill someone in cold blood and remain so calm. He'd turn it into a drama and then a farce, drink himself insensible, and then, railing at fate, pitch himself into the sea. Forget him. Legrand is wasting his time. Mr. Kreutzer just happens to be a perfect fit for the inspector's image of the Raven.
Athletic, cultured, moves among the rich and famous.
I'll eat his violin if he's the Raven or the murderer.
I have to be going, Lady Westmacott.
Please keep me informed, Constable Zellner.
Of course.
Well, let's talk to these fellas.
Mr. Kreutzer clearly feels uneasy. But does Legrand actually think he's the Raven?
But yes, yes he does.
Legrand is absorbed in the interrogation. He still seems pretty annoyed. The violinist seems to be bearing the brunt of it.
Is there nothing new?
Mr. Kreutzer clearly feels uneasy. But does Legrand actually think he's the Raven?
Anything new here?
Legrand will attend to the interrogations, and I'll handle the investigation. I won't talk to him again until I'm ready to present the murderer.
Alright. Wait, there was... Oh, okay, there's just Lady Westmacott. I want to talk to you! New things! Food! Coffee!
Excellent.
Is a tiny cup. That's a sip of Joe right there.
That's just what I needed.
I already had a coffee this morning, but I could go for another one.
Coffee is not bad at all, but one cup is enough.
No, have a billion.
English ham and eggs. One advantage on an international trip is the international breakfast. Many of my fellow countrymen think it's outrageous to eat fried bacon, sausages, or anything heavy for breakfast. I, on the other hand, think ham and eggs are the only worthwhile contribution the English have made to international
Shots
cuisine.
Fired, Mr. Zellner. However, well, I can't say I agree. I'm not that familiar with English cuisine,
but I don't have an
but I do
appetite.
enjoy a nice ham and
Maybe a
eggs.
side effect of the tranquilizer. It's not fair. There's a magnificent buffet, but I don't have an...
Just had to make sure. Is it... Can I, like, take some for the road? Nope. Is there anything new with the bar? I don't think so. There's certainly not. Leave! Oh, you know what? Nah. I'm already here. I'll take the long way. I was gonna go to the front of the boat again. Do 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 do. Oh hey, people are here now. Radical.
Miss Mayers seems to have found an opportunity to do nothing. Hello,
Talk.
Miss Mayers.
Miss Myers, are you aware that your hat is jittering uncontrollably
Constable
and
Zellner.
possibly floating? No, yeah, that hat is definitely float. I think it's supposed to be balanced on the book, but yeah, for whatever reason, jittering uncontrollably.
To go sunbathing in a situation like this?
What situation?
A woman was murdered last night.
If refusing to sunbathe could bring the dead back to life, I'd go back to my cabin immediately.
Did you hear or see anything suspicious last night?
No, I didn't feel very well last night. I went to bed early.
So, you're feeling better this morning?
Thanks for asking.
I'm sure your parents are truly sorry that they can't be with you at this difficult time.
Maybe. But I'm not a little girl anymore.
It's true.
And thinking about my fiancé keeps me going.
You're engaged?
Yes.
Well,
My
shoot.
boyfriend and I got engaged right before the trip. I want to surprise my parents.
There goes your shot,
especially my
Zellner.
I'm sure.
She's got a man already.
But what will you do if your father doesn't agree to the engagement?
dad. What choice does he have when he put me on this boat full of thieves and murderers in the first place?
Charming. Enjoy the sun, Miss Mayers, and don't let us disturb you.
If you're trying to make me feel guilty, Constable, it's not working.
I don't know if he was trying to make you feel guilty, but
Miss Mayers seems to have found...
alright. I'll assume there's nothing more there. Seemed pretty dismissive. What about you, Cap? What do you...
Captain DeConti seems old and tired. The price you pay for a life like his, I suppose. I believe I've got everything I can out of him. There's nothing more he can tell me at the moment.
Alright. I mean, I appreciate that. Appreciate just getting that message.
Miss Mayers doesn't really seem to be much help in my investigations. She's probably too busy thinking about her fiancé.
Ooh. I could feel how bitter he was. He thought he had a shot, damn it. What happened, Zell? 20 years ago, you were all the rage. Now you look like a background character in an NES McDonald's game. Yo, hey Ron, what's up? You wanna play shuffleboard? I'll fight you. I should probably talk to the new people.
Busy with that strange game.
It's just what I asked for. Okay, well, new
But I
person.
think he'd be running around all over the place if he'd really come to terms with what happened on the train.
Sorry, Matt. I'll talk to these people first. Oh, they're not new after all. I just didn't recognize her with her hair in a
Miss Miller and
I don't know,
the professor
bandana.
are talking intensely.
whatever those are called.
She seems pretty relaxed by her standards.
Yo, Miss Miller, what's up?
Good morning, Miss Miller. Professor Lucien?
Constable Zellner, how are you?
Oof.
I heard you passed out
Your
last
hair is
night.
just poking
Well,
out of that thing.
Not quite. I was poisoned.
Oh,
That wretch! Who do you mean by that wretch?
The Baroness.
That new raven.
Nope, I
The
was
young
wrong.
man can't be the murderer. Constable Oliver had already apprehended him when the shot was fired.
You mean...
Whoever killed the Baroness is still on
Dun,
the loose.
dun, dun.
I think
You can see how
I
shocked
should
they are.
take my leave. I'd like to rest for a while.
I love his generic walk cycle
question,
because it
Professor.
does not remotely fit the
Do you
situation.
think the eye is well
Because he sort of had like a real loose walk, like he just won the lottery or something. But not like $1 million. He won like
heavy machinery to
100.
crack the safe. And if Legrand isn't in his cabin, Constable Oliver or I check that everything is in order every hour.
That's not your
I
job.
understand.
I want to go back to my cabin. I'll see you later, Mary.
Oh,
Perhaps
of course.
in my cabin
See you later.
at 10 p.m.
I didn't want to interrupt your conversation.
Except
with
for the fact
Professor
that I
Lucien
did
so
it anyway.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Learning that there's still a burglar on board seemed to frighten him.
He was so relaxed the whole time, and then...
And then the stupid Swiss constable came by and made him anxious.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
No matter. I'm sure he'll calm down and come back soon enough. May I ask you a few questions?
Yes, please do.
Of course.
Matt.
How's Matt? He seems happy enough.
After all the commotion, he's already back to his old self again. But I haven't told him about the murder. That would be a bit too much for him.
I think he's made of sterner stuff.
I want to thank you again for what you did on the train. I wouldn't have known...
Everything's fine. Think nothing of it. How
Last
was
night,
for you?
where were
It was
you?
awful. I was having a conversation with Edgar, Professor Lucien, here on the
Ooh,
forecastle. Then I went to
first
look for the
name
lady and went
basis,
forward
are
by
we?
the side deck. When I passed the Baroness's cabin, I heard a muffled scream.
You heard a scream.
Yes. I thought the Baroness probably had a fall. I went to the door and listened for a moment. Since I couldn't hear anything, I knocked on the door and asked whether she was all right. There was no answer.
Interesting. And then?
I didn't know what to do, so I tried to open the door. It was locked. I saw the Baroness's butler, Mr. Inch, on the forecastle. I thought he might have the key and went back. On the way, the bobby crossed my path, and then Edgar, who wanted to check the safe. I explained the situation to him, and then the alarm went off.
The scream. Who was it?
Sound.
Replicate
It was
it.
a short outcry, very frightened, as if someone had been startled.
Was it a woman's voice?
Yes, the voice was high.
So it could have been a scream from the Baroness. Possibly because she discovered someone in her cabin.
Possibly.
That person might have threatened her with a weapon, so that she wouldn't scream for help.
Oh, God.
He waited until the coast was clear.
Oh, please, stop it, Mr. Zellner.
The Baroness's butler said that he was on the forecastle as well.
Yes, he was standing on the other side of the deck smoking a cigarette.
Was he on the forecastle the whole time?
I'm not sure. He was there, and later he was on the side deck with us. Oh, yes, he looked after you while you were unconscious. He unbuttoned your collar and held your head while the doctor checked you.
But you can't say for certain whether he came from the forecastle with you and Professor Lucien, or afterwards.
Well, no. But where else could he have come from?
Fair.
Did you report
Makes sense.
that to Inspector Legrand?
Yes, last night. He was very interested and took a lot of notes. But I wanted to look for Lady Westmacott, and he let me go without further delay. He said that he'd take down my full statement today.
I understand.
Do you think the man from the train also killed the Baroness, Constable Zellner?
I don't know yet.
It's horrible. Explosions, thieves, murderers. This isn't the right place for a lady and a little boy.
You and Professor Lucien seem to be having a lively conversation.
Oh, yes. He's an expert in ancient Egyptian art and preeminent in hieroglyphic research. He's the head of the Egyptian department in the British Museum, you know. And he's going to open an exhibition at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
Right. For the eye.
They had planned on exhibiting both jewels together for the first time in decades, but that's not going to happen now, sadly. I think it's quite upsetting for him.
We're working hard to ensure that at least one eye will be on display.
I know. I'll ask Lady Westmacott if she'd like to participate in the opening of the exhibition. I think it would be good for her.
And Professor Lucien will surely offer you a private tour.
Ooh.
You're American, aren't you?
That's correct.
And you moved to England because of the job?
I lived in England before. During the Second World War, I volunteered. I worked in a pharmacy on a U.S. base north of London.
In a
If it was volunteer, you know what you were getting into. But if it wasn't volunteer, not a great place to live during that time.
Sent where they could help best.
Please, go on, Mrs. Miller.
After the war, I studied music in London. I met my husband there. We married and went back to the States together.
He was also American?
No, English. But he said he had problems with his family, and he wanted to be as far from them as possible.
And you gave up
Families, I tells ya.
Well, yes, I did.
Would you stop doing that with your hands? It's weird to just sit there
It was pretty
looking
tough
like
then.
you're praying.
I worked from morning till night, and it was still only enough for the bare necessities. And I couldn't give Matt all the attention he needed.
And then Lady Westmacott entered your life.
It was like an angel appeared to me. She must have offered me the position out of pity. I had no experience as a carer. She made me a generous offer. I couldn't believe it. And she really adores Matt. She's offered him a good education, and now he has every opportunity in life.
An almost unbelievable story.
I'm still afraid that it's a dream and that I'll wake up one day.
Don't worry.
How does it feel to work for such a world-famous person?
The work is very interesting and varied, and it pays well, too.
You are very lucky that the lady offered
I can't
the position
imagine.
to you.
I guess traveling around with her would vary up the work a little bit.
Of Matt's education then. I really make an effort to measure up to Lady Westmacott's expectations, but sometimes I feel like I fall short.
Lady Westmacott couldn't ask for a better companion.
I should know. I barely know either of
As
you.
much money as I can, all the same. I'd do anything so that Matt doesn't have to give up his new life.
Lady Westmacott dropped a hint on the train that she killed her hero, Partout. What did she mean by that?
Oh, she must have meant the manuscript.
She's writing a new
She always
book.
takes it with her. It's an unpublished Partout novel. I once asked her why she never published it. She said that according to her will, the novel's only to be published after her death.
And in it, Partout will be killed?
Maybe. I've never read it. No one has. You better ask her yourself.
You know, I kind of appreciate that. That's a much better way to do it than,
you would certainly know something about medicines and poisons.
I know the,
potential poison
what is it, the
Depends on the
Millennium
Have you ever
series.
heard of chloral hydrate?
I think that's what they're actually called. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
I'm asking you.
It was one of them, and I know there's another
From her
one.
last novel. But
Something
since
to
I've
do with
never
Lord of the
wanted to
Rings,
kill anyone,
I
never
believe.
bothered with things like strychnine
Where,
or arsenic and all that. I could recommend something
the
for
original
headache,
writer
sore throat, or rash.
just had some notes lying around, and they had relatives finish it
Miss Miller.
Constable.
after their death. It was just terrible. Don't do that.
Maybe Miss Miller has found something
Unless it was in their will,
in the
but I don't know, it comes off as a
Unfortunately, there's no guarantee that
sort of
the
a
two them will
desperate
end up
move, I
together.
guess.
People with low self-esteem tend to sabotage their own happiness.
Alright, what's up, Ron? I've actually called this kid Ron so many times
Hello there, partner.
that when they say Matt or
Are
Maddie,
you all
I
right?
forget who they're talking about. How
Have
you
recovered from our
doing?
adventure?
Mr. Zellner,
Hmm?
what's going on?
What do you mean?
Everybody's acting so strange, and there's tape across that door. I saw that in a movie once.
You don't
Well-
have to be worried.
Is it about the man from the train?
It might be about the thief, yes.
Haven't you caught him yet?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Well, that kid doesn't seem to have a care in the
heard
world.
You and your mom used to argue a lot.
We did. Everything was bad. The house, school, the other kids. We didn't have much money, and I was always alone.
You do know that your mother would love to have been with you, don't you? She had to go out to work to earn money.
She wouldn't have had to, if Dad were still around.
Ooh, that stings.
How do you get along with her now?
I'm always happy when we do something together on vacation. She has more time for me now, and I like my boarding school. I have lots of friends, and the teachers aren't so bad.
There's too many O's for that kind of
Mother
laid-back
and
delivery
Professor
kid.
Lucien seem to be on very good terms with each other. Don't you like him?
Nope.
No,
He seems to be very nice.
I guess.
Lady
Lady
Westmacott.
Westmacott is all by herself in the saloon. maybe you'd like to visit her later.
No.
Sure, the lady tells exciting stories.
I know. She's my favorite writer.
She told me that it's not much fun to write detective novels. She'd rather write something else, but her fans always want the same thing.
They made her rich and famous.
I told her to write what she wants to write. If it's good, someone will buy it. And if not, at least she had fun writing it. Then she smiled and nodded. She said it was a good idea.
There's your advice for the day, for the week, for your
What
life.
are you playing there?
I'm playing shuffleboard. At least I'm trying to.
Never played it before.
It's easy.
Kind of.
Professor Lucy
Don't do something for money. Do something because you like it.
We didn't play.
You didn't
There's
want
that
to
old
play
saying,
with
and
me,
I'm
did
just
you?
gonna totally rip off something I heard. I would
You
credit
want to
it
play a
if I
game with
remember
me?
where I heard it from. But everyone knows the whole quote of, if you love your job, yeah, I'm totally gonna play shuffleboard or whatever this game is with you,
You
kid.
would have to explain the rules to me
There's that old
first.
quote
Okay.
of,
Play with the blue pucks
if you love your
at
job, you don't have to work a day in your life.
You have to push the pucks with
That's
your
full of
stick
crap.
into the zone over there and score
because,
as many pucks as possible.
Sounds easy. How many pucks do I
Even
have?
if you love your job, which
Now here comes the kicker.
I do. It's
First
not
it's
a
your turn,
secret.
Then mine,
I
and so on. But everyone is allowed to
I
shoot
love
other
to animate.
person's
I've animated
pucks out of the zone.
for exposure. Partially because I have no respect for myself, and partially because working unpaid was better than not working at all to me at the time. I don't know if I would choose the same thing anymore, but just something I really like to do. But that doesn't mean there aren't days that I
Oh, yeah.
completely
What are you
hate it.
playing for?
I thought we just play for fun.
So,
That's boring. We
there,
have to bet
some of the best advice I was ever
otherwise
given
it isn't fun.
You
is
English people.
So
there
I'll
will
bet
be
my brand
days
new slingshot.
where you will
And
hate your
I
job.
don't want to gamble.
How about
Where you think
ice cream in Cairo?
every decision you've made
If I
up to
win,
that point,
I get the
as far as your
slingshot.
career goes,
If I lose,
was a
I
mistake.
get an ice cream in Cairo.
If you don't ever have those
Hey,
thoughts,
never try to cheat Matt Miller. So, what do you say?
you're in the wrong
Ice
career.
cream versus slingshot?
Now,
All right.
I've never
Let
said that
the
out
games
loud,
begin.
and I don't know how much I believe it anymore. But I think the point is, at least what I took out of it, was just because you have a couple of bad days doesn't mean you are making a mistake with your life. Also, oh boy, this is... Whew.